কুঞ্জ বিহারী গোপীজন বল্লভ গিরিবরধারী জয় গোপীজন বল্লভ গিরিবরধারী যশোদানন্দন ব্রজজন রঞ্জন যশোদানন্দন ব্রজজন রঞ্জন যমুনা তীর বনচারী যমুনা তীর বনচারী জয় রাধা মাধব জয় কুঞ্জ বিহারী হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে হরে জয় রাধা গিরিধারী রাধে জয় জগন্নাথ জয় বলদেব জয় সুভদ্রা জয় গৌরনিতাই জয় গৌরনিতাই জয় জয় প্রভুপাদ জয় জয় প্রভুপাদ নিতাই গৌর হরি বল নিতাই গৌর হরি বল। So Hare Krishna everybody, welcome to this morning class of Srimad Bhagavatam. Today we'll first read from Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, and after that we'll recite and discuss one slok from Srimad Bhagavatam. So reading from Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, and before that I'm sharing the screen. Just allow me a second. So is it visible in the screen? Can everybody see that?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. In the temple room, so we am reading from Prabhupada Lilamrita, and it is chapter 31, and the heading of this chapter is a threat against ISKCON. In the temple room, Prabhupada showed Karanadhara where to build the 3 altars. He indicated the measurements and instructed that before each altar should be a pair of doors, over them the symbols of Vishnu, a conch shell, over the altar of Guru and Gauranga, a wheel and a club over Radha and Krishna's altar in the center, and a lotus over Lord Jagannath's. The spiritual master's Vashasan was to go at the opposite end of the temple, facing Radha and Krishna. The wall should be yellow, which Prabhupada said was in the mode of goodness. The ceiling should be covered with a canopy, and there should be chandeliers. Once the altar were completed, Prabhupada wanted to bring the deities, even though much of the renovation was yet unfinished. After constructing an umbrella-covered cart and decorating it with flowers, the devotees brought the deities in procession from the old temple to La Chenega Boulevard to their new home. Bhavananda is speaking. The first time he came into the temple room after the morning walk, he went to the Guru Gauranga altar and paid his obeisances. We all paid our obeisances. Then he stood up and he went to Radha and Krishna and then paid obeisances. Then to Jagannatha, and we all followed. Then we walked back, and he sat on his Vaishashana, and he told us, now you line up facing each other, and from Vaishashana to Radha and Krishna, face each other this way, that way. One way you look is Guru, and the other way God. And then back and forth the way, always leave the aisle, he said, so I can see. The deity was the king, Prabhupada said, and all the temple residents were his personal servants. The temple, therefore, should be like a palace. An elaborate temple was important for preaching. Prabhupada explained, because most people, especially the Westerners, were not inclined to undergo any austerities for obtaining spiritual life. There was an Indian saying, no one listens to a poor man. Where the devotees to advertise classes on Bhakti Yoga in such empty field were a certain tree. Prabhupada said, no one would come but a clean, beautiful building with chandeliers and comfortable rooms would attract many people to visit and become purified. Hare Krishna, I'm stopping here. No, wait. So I'm sharing the screen for today's Srimad Bhagavatam first, and before that. So today we'll read from Srimad Bhagavatam. It is Canto 5, Chapter 8 and verse 15. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Yayamudirayet Sinnatam Shakata Krishna Punna Sravana Kirtanaha Hridiyantasto Hi Abhadrani Vidhunoti Shurit Shatam Nashto Praeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nushtiki. So, reading from Canto 5, Chapter 8 and verse 15, and the heading of this canto is The Creative Impetus, and the heading of this chapter, a description of the character of Bharat Maharaj, Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. So, I'm just sharing the screen, just sit down. So, is it visible? Can everybody see the screen, please?
Yes, Prabhu, yes.
Thank you. Annada bhrishamudvignamana nashta dravina iva kripanah sakarunamatitarshena harina kunako viraha vivhal hridaya santapas tam evanusochan kilakasmalam mahat avilambita iti hovacha. Annadaभिषमुद्विग्नमना नष्टद्रविण इव कृपणः सकरुणाम् अतितर्षेण हरिणकुनक विरह विवल हृदय सन्तापस् तम एवानुशोचन् किल कस्मलं महद् विरम्बित इति होवाच. अन्नदाभृशमुद्विग्नमना नष्टद्रविण इव कृपणः सकरुणामतितर्षेण हरिणकुनक विरह विह्वल हृदय संतापस्तम एवानुशोचन किल कस्मलं महद अभिरम्बित इति होवाच. So Hare Krishna devotees, anybody who like to recite, please can recite now.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Annada bhrisham udvigna mana nashta drovina iva kripanaha sakaruna moti tarshena horina kunaka viraha viuhala hridaya santapastam ivanu shochan kila kasmalam mahad abhirambhita iti hovacha.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, I am also trying.
Yes, Maharaj.
Annada vrisham udvigna mana nashta dravina eva kripana shakarunam atitarshena harina kunaka viraha vihal hridaya santapa তমো এব অনুশোচন কিল কস্মলং মহদ অভিরম্ভিত ইতি হোবাচ। হরে কৃষ্ণ।
Hare Krishna Maji. Thank you.
Hare
Anyone?
Krishna Prabhu, Dhanvar Pranam.
Yes, Prabhuji, please continue.
Anyadvrisham udvigna mana nasta dravina eva kripana shakuranam atitrasena hirana kunaka viraha vivala vidaya santapatam evanu sochana khila kashmalam mahad adhirambitam iti ho vacha. Thank you, Hare Krishna
Thank
Prabhu.
you, Hare Krishna. Anybody else is there, or we can?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can I try to?
Yes, Mataji, Ashoka Maji,
Hare
please.
Krishna Prabhu. Anyata भृशुम उद्विग्न मना नष्ट द्रविण इव कृपणः सकरुन्मतिर्तेष्ण हरिन् कुन्कः विरहा विहल विहृद संतापस्तमे एव नुशोचनाखिलं कश्मलं महदभिभीतम् इति योवाच. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु.
Hare Krishna Maji. So we are moving to the synonyms. Can anybody please read the synonyms?
Yes, Prabhu, I can do.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Annada, sometimes not seeing the cup. Bhrisham, very much. Udbigna manaha, his mind full of anxiety. Nashta dravina, who has lost his riches. Eva, like Kripana, a miserly man. Shakarunam, piteously. Ati tarshena, with great anxiety. Harino Kunaka, from the calf of the deer. Viraha, by separation. Vihala, agitated. Hridaya, in mind of heart. Santapa, whose affliction. Tam, that calf, Eva only. Anushochan, continuously thinking of. Kila, certainly. Kashmalam, illusion. Mahat, very great. Abhirambhitaha, obtained. Iti, thus. How, certainly. Ubach, said. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Mataji. And now the translation. Can anybody like to read it, please?
Hare Krishna. If Bharat Maharaj sometimes could not see the deer, his mind would be very agitated. He would become like a miser who, having obtained some riches, and had lost them and had then become very unhappy. When the deer was gone, he would be filled with anxiety and would lament due to separation. Thus, he would become illusioned and speak as follows. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And purport also. Can anybody read it?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. If a poor man loses some money or gold, he at once becomes very agitated. Similarly, the mind of Maharaj Bharata would become agitated when he did not see the deer. This is an example of how our attachment can be transferred. If our attachment is transferred to the Lord's service, we progress. Srila Rupa Goswami prayed to the Lord that he would be as naturally attracted to the Lord's service as young women are naturally attracted to each other. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited such attachment to the Lord when he jumped into the ocean or cried at night in separation. However, if our attachment is diverted to material things instead of to the Lord, we will fall down from the spiritual platform. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Om Jnanotimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Padamahyam Dadati Padam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Nitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Shaitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishatan Nitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanto Radha Kanto Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hoitve Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Vishnu Pishtaya Bhutale Prabhupada Nugami Sri Shubha Goswamine Sada দৈন্যশীলী শুভজ্ঞয় সর্বজীব কৃপাব্দে গুরু শিক্ষা সদাচার কলকায় নমস্তুতে নমো বিষ্ণুপালে কৃষ্ণপৃষ্ঠায় ভূতলে শ্রীমতে ভক্তি বেদান্ত স্বামী নীতি নামিনে নমস্তে সরস্বতী দেবে গৌরবাণী প্রচারিণে নির্বিশেষ শূন্যবাদী পাশ্চাত্য দেশধারিণে নমো মহাবদান্নায় কৃষ্ণ প্রেম প্রদায়তে কৃষ্ণায় কৃষ্ণ চৈতন্য নাম্নে গৌরতিষে নমঃ মুখং করোতি বাচলং পঙ্গুং লঙ্ঘয়তে গিরিম যৎকৃপাতমহং বন্দে পরমানন্দ মাধবম Sri Guru Dinotaranam. Hare Krishna. Welcome you all the devotees here in this morning class of Srimad Bhagavatam. I am not qualified, but still I am doing this service as I have been instructed to undertake this service, and it gives me an opportunity to purify myself. So I beg to all of you, the devotees here, for your mercy, please bless me so that I can properly glorify the Lord, Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and contribute anything positive in the mission of Srila Prabhupada and my Guru Maharaj in preaching the message of the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, before we start, a brief background of this today's verse. Bharat Maharaj was a very exalted personality. And if we look in his life, his life is glorious, both as a king and as a devotee. He was very learned and experienced as a king. He was king of the whole world. And when he was a king, he perfectly ruled the kingdom. He engaged himself in his duties as a king. And he not only that, he also engaged his citizens in their respective duties and following the Vedic principles and teachings of Vedas. He ruled as a king for 10 million years. And formerly the planet was, before him, formerly means before him, the planet was known as Ajanava Varsho. But after Maharaja Bharat's reigning this world, it has become known as Bharat Varsho. So this speaks of his greatness as a king. He was also a great devotee, and as a king, he faithfully performed various yagyas. A king is required to perform yagyas. So after performing this preliminary sacrifice of this yagya, Maharaja Bharat offered the result of that yagyas in the name of this Supreme Personality of Godhead. That means Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, or the Sri Krishna. In other words, he performed all the yagyas for the satisfaction of the Lord Vasudeva, Vasudev's Krishna. So this speaks of his knowledge about the religious principles. He was a great devotee of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he was very knowledgeable as a devotee as well. We have seen from his life, so far, so many speakers have told about his, and in the previous chapter in particular, it contains the information how he was a great devotee, and he was aware of the different, and he was aware that different devotas or the demigods, they are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So he was not deviated in his devotional service by restricting him to the devotion and to the demigods, but he was fixed on the service of the Lord Krishna. And as a pure devotee of Krishna, he was completely uncontaminated in his heart. And when the period of his ruling was finished, as a king, when he finished his duty as a king, he retired from family life and divided his wealth he had received from his forefathers and among his sons, and he then left his paternal home. And as you know, the king's palace is a reservoir of opulence. He left all that and he started for Pulohashram, and this place is near Haridwar, and on the bank of the river Gandoki, and it is one of the purest river. And even coming here to the Pulohashram, he engaged himself seriously in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. He was offering the flowers of the garden, tulsi leaves from the tulsi plant, fruits from the forest, and water of the Gandoki river to the Supreme Lord, and worshipped him. And doing in this way, worshipping his heart was completely uncontaminated, and he did not have the least desire for material enjoyment. all the desires of material desires, attachment, vanished. And in this steady condition, he felt full satisfaction. It is given in the previous chapter in particular, that he felt full satisfaction by complete surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord. So he was very elevated and spiritually advanced person. Yet he fell down due to the attachment to a young deer. So now, how he got so much attached to the deer, that also a brief discussion I'm telling, because it is also told repeated times, but I'm still telling there's a continuity of that. We know the story briefly. It goes like this. And one day, Bharat Maharaj, when he's taken bath, as usual, in the Kanduki river, and was chanting the mantra, he saw a pregnant deer come to the river to drink water, and suddenly there was a thundering roar of the lion, and the deer was so frightened that it immediately gave birth to a calf. It then crossed the river, but died immediately there. So Maharaja Bharat, who was a great devotee, naturally took compassion upon this motherless calf. He rescued it from the water, took him to his ashram, cared for it affectionately. What he did up to this point, I mean, taking care of a helpless calf of a deer, he was perfectly all right. But what happened? He gradually became attached to the young deer and always thought it affectionately. It grew up, it became Bharat Maharaja's, Maharaja's, he was previously Maharaja, but now Bharat, constant companion. He took care of it, and gradually he became so absorbed in thinking about there. It is in the verse it is given today. He was always thinking of that. His mind became agitated when he didn't see the deer, and he became, in this way, he get more attached to the deer, and his devotional service slackened. And that is the most dangerous situation. When we are attached to a material thing and our devotional service slackened, that is a very dangerous situation. And that happened for him. Although he was able to give up his opulent kingdom, as we have told, he was able to give up his family, his opulent kingdom, everything, every opulence of the royal opulence we cannot think of even. So he was a king of the whole world. And he had so much opulence. In other words, everything belonged to him for his enjoyment, but he gave it up. Yet he became attached to the deer. And this is the trap of karma bandhan or Maya Shakti of the Lord. Maya is very strong, and we, in this material world, we are so much influenced by Maya that we'll try to explain it later. We'll first remember that why it is so powerful, because it is the energy of the Lord. Maya Shakti is energy of the Lord, and that is why extremely difficult to overcome. And we should never underestimate its power. So today we'll discuss what is the nature of this material world, why we have come to this material world, how the material activities binds us, what are the activities are binding, and what activities are liberating, and what is our duty as human being, and what activities we should do so that we can be free from the bondage of karma or karma bandhan. And we'll also discuss how to cut the bondage of karma bandhan, and what is Maya, and how to get rid of Maya and go back to the abode of the Lord, which is our real home, where everybody is blissful and there is no suffering. Now first discussing about the material world. When Lord Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita in verse 10.8 that Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Matta Sarvam Pravartate, what does it mean really? It means that Lord is a person. Unlike the impersonalist, the devotees understand the personal feature of the Lord. So this knowledge that Lord is a personal form is the superior knowledge, and the devotees are in possession of that. That means devotees know the Lord is a person. And he, as a person, he has the unlimited potency. So he has expanded in various forms, various avatars, and also he has got various energies. And so anything and everything that exists, we can think of, or we can imagine, or we have seen from our experience, we have not seen anything that exists, even in our imagination, that are coming directly from the Lord, either from Him or from His expansion or from His energies. The material world, as is mentioned, is separated energy of the Lord. That means, although material world, Lord does not directly, personally take care every day-to-day activities, but it is under His control. The material world, He is the controller, but it is run separately. And in Bhagavad Gita verse 9.10, the Lord is told that Maya dhokshena prakriti ishyote sacharacharam. These people sometimes say the natural law or something like it is happening in the nature, but they do not understand that Lord is behind that. Lord is the controller of that material energy. So only with Krishna's knowledge and Krishna's superintendence, the material world works. So that way, material world is dependent on the Lord, although it is separated energy of the Lord. And another feature of this material world is that it is also called in our Vedic literature, this material world is also called Morto Loko. Morto means death, the place of death. This material world in which we are living, or we are at the moment, irrespective of the position, whether there are 14 planets in the material world, 7, the Earth is in the middle, and 7 in the top, and 7 below, the 14 planets, all are subject to destruction. And in Bhagavad Gita 8.6, the Lord is clearly states, Abrahma bhuvanaloko punaravartino arjuna mamukvetatu kaunteo punarjanmana vittate. So they are subject to destruction. That means this material world will, in this material, anything and everything will be destroyed in course of time. And it is not permanent. And another feature of this material world is that it is an illusory. Means we do not have the proper knowledge what is happening in the material world. And now the question is how we have come to this material world. We have come to this material world because of our past desire and karma bandhan, the past life. We have, for life after life, we are doing that. We have a desire to fulfill for sense enjoyment, and Lord has created this material world for us. For those who desire to enjoy for sense gratification, to satisfy, to enjoy without the intervention of the Lord. It is not possible because, as I have told, anything and everything that exists is dependent on Krishna. But so without Krishna, nothing is possible. But we have a desire, although and Krishna being our eternal Father, we try to avoid him and try to enjoy separately, which is never possible. So Lord has made this illusory condition where we feel that we can be happy by our sense enjoyment, but it is never possible. So this is an illusory situation. We think that by our endeavor, by our effort, by our adjustment of things, we'll be able in this material, we'll be happy, but it is never possible. So Lord has created this illusory situation, but at the same time, this material world, the human form of life in particular, has an opportunity. So Lord has given us partial independence. We can work here in this material life, in this material world, and get involved in activities, and that is called karma bandhan, what I have told. Each act to enjoy creates a bondage in this material world. And in this way, we get attached, and we try to do more work and get more attached to this material world. And in this way, life after life, when we die, we have a desire, and Lord gives an opportunity to enjoy in the next life. And in this way, life after life, we are trying to enjoy, and and with unfulfilled desire, get a new life. And this cycle is going on, life after life, life after life. But only in the human form of life, when we get that, we have the opportunity, or because of our higher intelligence, we have an opportunity to understand that as the Lord has given us partial independence, we have an opportunity to understand who is God, what is our real position, who is God, and what is our relation with Him, and what is our real nature, what is our duty, and we can understand this. But again, it is partial independence. We may or may not know it. Unfortunately, most of the people of this material world do not know that, and they are in ignorance. That they do not know. They say they don't consider there is existence of God, and they try to do in the material way and try to be happy as like any other animalistic life. Ahar, nidra, bhoy, maithun, amcho. These four things: eating, sleeping, eating, ahar, nidra, bhoy, maithun, and self-defense. And in this way, they spend their life. But we have got the opportunity and partial independence. The independence is that we can understand in this life our relationship with the Lord and perform our duty accordingly. And that is the way we can go back to the Godhead, again to our place, to our original place, where the eternal place, where the abode of the Lord, and there is no destruction for that one. And it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita in verse 820, where it is stated that there is another world of the Lord which is never destroyed, and it says which is eternal and never annihilated. As I've told, the material world is destructed. Even after the end of Brahma's day, every living being goes into oblivion. And again, after the night of when again the day of Brahma comes, they reappear again. But there is another world, and there is an indication in Bhagavad Gita, verse 820, where it says that there is another world. Paratasmatu bhavono abhyakto bhaktat sanatanaha yasha sarveshu bhuteshu nashatshu no vinashati. Yet there is another unmanifested nature which is eternal and is transcendental to the manifest and manifest matter. It is the supreme, and it is never annihilated. So that is our real hope, where that is our real nature as well. As we are really a spirit soul in the sense that, and that is our eternal life. But we have the opportunity to learn this in the human form of life, and when we understand that, that should be our goal. To understand in this human life, we should understand that what is our real nature, and that we are the spiritual energy, and our nature is transcendental, and this material body we have got is temporary. And during this life, if we properly do our devotional service and connect to the Lord and satisfy the Lord and get the mercy of the Lord by the service or through his devotees, then we can go back to the Godhead. And that is the goal of human life. And another thing is that in this material world, when the spirit soul is encased in a material body, the situation is created in which it is clearly in which we do not understand our real nature, and we think that we are this body. And the first lesson, spiritual knowledge, is that we are not this body. That is the first lesson in the Bhagavad Gita. In the second chapter, Lord Krishna was telling to Arjuna, where he says that Arjuna was initially very much compassionate to fight against his friends, relatives, and the family members, and he was giving argument to Lord Krishna that even if I win the battle, what will happen? I will not be able to enjoy because they are my friends and they are my relatives, and if I kill them and get the kingdom, I will not be able to enjoy them. But Lord Krishna said that, while starting to give him this transcendental lesson, the first thing he told that anyway, if you do not kill them, anyway, they will die one day. As I have told, it's Mortaloko. People will die. And so, even if you do not die, they will die somehow way. But if you follow my instruction, in this way, you can fulfill your religious obligation, and you can be famous also, because you have because of your kirti or your fame as a fighter, you will be able to you will be known. So this material world, we do not know our real identity, and our identity is spiritual soul, and which is eternal, and the material body is temporary. Now, in this material body, when we do our now the question is how we can get our eternal life. That is the other thing we are trying to discuss. The eternity or the eternity of human being lies in our spirit soul. This because the soul, it is told that it is never destroyed. It is as old as the Lord Krishna himself. Because as a part and parcel of Krishna, we are also spirit, we are transcendental, but we have forgotten that in this material life. So when we understand we are spiritual being and try to establish our relationship with the Lord, and in this way, we can gradually become free from our material contamination. And it is the only way, by connecting with the Lord only, we can become free from our material contamination. And often there is and our material contamination gradually gets diluted, and we get purified ultimately. The good example in that way is like only by knowing our real position, means by serving the Lord only we get that. And the example is often given, Prabhupada is given in various places, and often this example is this. When an iron rod is iron in the material, every one of us is saying, when an iron rod is put into a fire, so when it is put into the fire, it gets heated, because the fire, you can compare the fire as the Lord, and iron rod is human being, human life. So when when iron rod is put into the fire, it gradually acquires the quality of the fire. It gets heated gradually, and further heated, and at one time it becomes red hot. And in this way, it becomes so red hot, then it can act as a fire. So when we associate with the Lord, we get our material contamination diminishes, and our spiritual feature is revealed, and we understand our position. We become from Jiva Bhuto, we become Brahma Bhuto. That means we understand our real things, and we can associate with the Lord, because Lord is the purest. Lord is very pure, and so to become pure, unless we become pure, the Lord will not accept our service. So it is the way of improving our contamination, and in this way we can become free from our material contamination. And here, now coming back to Bharat Maharaj's case, he was really a pure soul and a pure devotee, but we should not forget, as I have told, this material world is an illusory. The illusory energy of the Lord is very powerful, and it is an example before us. Like through Arjuna, Lord Krishna has given us Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna, a few things before we discuss that. Lord Arjuna was an associate of Lord Krishna. So he is always associating Krishna. So how it is that he was illusioned in chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, it is, I think the second verse, it is told that Arjuna was told, Lord Krishna was told, Sri Bhagavan Uvacho, Kutastha Kosmalamidam Vishamesham Upastitam Anarja Jishtam Ashargam Akritikam Arjuna. How this illusion has come to your mind? Arjuna was telling, as I have told him, Arjuna was telling that he will not be able to kill his relatives and friends. How will he enjoy it? And even he gets it, he will not accept it. But Lord Sri Krishna has told him it is your illusion. And in a similar way, in this material world, we are always in illusion. And only with a pure devotee we can get rid of this illusion. And from the knowledge from Krishna, or the transcendental knowledge, can get rid of our illusion. And so here, Bharat Maharaj's example, what I understand is that it is an example before us. Just as Arjuna was illusioned, and we got Bhagavad Gita, the Lord Krishna has used one of his close associate to disclose the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to us. In a similar way, what is the danger of this material world in our devotional service? That is the example of Bharat Maharaj. He has almost reached most of Bhagavad stage. That means he was just one step below the highest stage of Krishna Prem, but yet he fell down in this material world. So it only highlighting how much cautious we should be in our devotional service. And no matter where we are situated, we should never be complacent about our duties or responsibilities. And every time we should be vigilant. And unless we remain vigilant, ever vigilant, it is there is likelihood that we will fall down. And that is the lesson that this story of through the story of Bharat Maharaj, we are getting from Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srimad Bhagavatam is only Krishna's, is non-different from Krishna. So through Bharat Maharaj, the Lord Sri Krishna is giving us this knowledge that we should be ever vigilant. We should be always and every moment, because any more time we are away from Maya, we can fall back to the material plane. From the spiritual plane, we will fall back. And in fact, Maya has got just a few words about Maya Shakti of the Lord. And in Bhagavad Gita, 7:14, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 14, it is told, Doi Vihesha Gogami Momo Maya Duruttaya. That means it is the energy of the Lord, and Daivi Shakti, it is a divine energy of the Lord, so it is very difficult to overcome. And we'll now try to discuss a few words about the two features of Maya Shakti of the Lord. Maya has got, in fact, two parts of it, the way it acts. The first one is Avaranatmika Shakti, and the other is Vikshep Atmika Shakti. Avaranatmika Shakti of the Maya does not allow us to know about the Lord. As I was telling, our spirit soul is covered in a material body, so we do not understand. That covers our spiritual sense, our spiritual consciousness, and we think that we are part of this material body and try to act in this way. That is why we think it is my family, it is my friend, he is my friend, he is my enemy, and this is my country, this is my society. I am born. I am father. I am mother, and in this way we think in our bodily concept. And anything relating to the body, we identify ourselves as our own, and anything not from the bodily outside the bodily concept, we consider not ours. So that is the Avaranatmika Shakti of the Lord. It doesn't allow us to know the spiritual our real identity. And we cannot know, we can get rid of this Avaranatmika Shakti when we come in association with the devotees. The devotees, through the knowledge of the Krishna's knowledge, through Krishna or his devotees, we can get rid of the Avaranatmika Shakti of the Lord. And Avaranatmika Shakti covered the knowledge that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we have a relationship with the Lord, and our duty is to serve the Lord. That covers it, that knowledge is covered. But the Prakshetatmika Shakti, or that means throw away, is when we have known that when we have overcome the Avaranatmika Shakti, that means we have come to the stage that we know that Lord is the Supreme and everything comes from him. And as a spirit soul, our duty is to serve the Lord. That is the human duty, or the duty of a human being, that we know it, but still it is trying to throw us from that position. In case of Bharat Maharaj, that means it says that, giving, Prabhupada has given example in different places. He's told the Prakshatatma Shutri will just one who has, it tests us at every stage. When a new devotee has joined in ISKCON, I'm giving an example only, that when a new devotee has joined in ISKCON, then he has to observe regulative principle: no meat eating, no drinking, no intoxication, no gambling. So it will tell him when he has abandoned this and started doing devotional service, Prakshatatma will say, why you are getting up so early in the morning and in this thing? Try to sleep a bit more and take. It is too much you are doing. So that concept prevents us from doing our devotional service properly. Or at every step, it is doing that. And the recourse to get rid of this Prakshatatma Shakti is to take shelter of the Lord more in a firm way. So only by taking shelter of the Lord, we can get rid of the Prakshatatmika Shakti of the Lord. Because every moment whenever there is no Lord, we must remember that this Lord and the Maya Shakti are side by side. When on one side the Lord, the other side is Maya Shakti. And when we are not attached to the Lord, or we are not associating with the Lord, you take it for granted that, by our activities, I'm not telling in different ways, but when we are not associated with the Lord, take it for granted that we are under the cover of Maya Shakti, and that is taking us away from the devotional service. So, therefore, Sri Krishna has told in Arjuna also in 7.7. It is 7.7. Yeah, sorry, it is 8.17, where it is said that Tashmat Sarveshu Kaleshu. It is telling that 8.7, where it says, first he has told whatever one thinks at the time of death, he will take that body. He will get that body in the next life. And so one who thinks of the Lord, he will go to the abode of the Lord. There is no doubt about that. It is stating in 8.5 and 8.6, whatever forms one thinks, he will get that forms in his next life. And the next verse, 8.7, it says, Tashmat, he is telling Arjuna to fight, and he is telling Tashmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Mam Anusmara Yuddhacha. So therefore, always, remember, it is always. It is not that sometimes you can do and sometimes you cannot do. In our activities, in our thinking, in our whatever we do, we must associate with the Lord. Only by associating or remain attached to the Lord, to the lotus feet of the Lord, we can be freed from Maya. Now we can avoid the trap of Maya. Otherwise, it's very, very strong. We should not underestimate it at any cost. And Prabhupada has told, and even our Guru, I have heard this in the recent times. My Guru Maharaj came for New Zealand. And he has told, even in ISKCON also, the figure he is in the ISKCON for a long time. He was telling he joined more than 50 years ago. He was telling that after some time, if you remain, if you are, you can observe carefully, you will see that the old faces have gone. Some of them have passed off. That is a different thing. They have left this material world. That is a different issue. But even for them, even for devotees also, who has in a long time, you'll see that some people have left. Why? Because they have surrendered to the Maya Shakti of the Lord, and their attachment to the Lord was not that firm. So, in absence of that firm commitment or shelter of the Lord, they have become victim of Maya. And exactly that happened to Bharat Maharaj. Bharat Maharaj was such a nice exemplary devotee, as I have told differently. But he has become victim of Maya because he neglected his devotional service. And when he was another example, where some people were telling in the previous class I'm talking about, that they were pointing out that one of the reasons why Bharat Maharaj failed, fall down, I mean to say. Of course, in the next life, he became a deer, and then he became a human being and got the final abode of the Lord. But one of the reasons is that people say that he was alone. But we must, at the same time, he was alone, no doubt about that. That is, of course. But in material world, everything is duality. So he was in the forest, so he was not having the company of his other devotees, no doubt about that. But at the same time, we are here in this material world. One of the advantages is that if we are in association, we can have the association of devotees, and if we like, and they sometimes with their company, we can be protected. But at the same time, there is another danger also. There in this material world also, I mean, in a city or the urban situation or the family situation, there are also materialistic people. We have got their trap as well. So we should not consider that it is free. I mean, we are here safe. He went there for that these material people will be obstruction for spiritual development, and so he felt trapped. He went there alone and became a victim of Maya by remaining alone, and no one warned him, and he became a victim of that. There, the solitary place has got its has got the problem, and he has become trapped because of Maya, because of that. But here, the other way around, here for us, we are in a situation where we have societies and other things. But at the same time, there are so many people, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Asat Sanga Tag Ei Vaishnava Achar. Are you able to get rid of their company? I mean, a normal way I'm talking about. Unless you are very cautious, you cannot avoid them. So that is the danger. Here is the opposite, that we cannot get rid of the materialist people, and we get influenced by them every time they are talking of their material things, and that is a trap for us, that we are thinking we are suffering. I mean, a person whose faith is not that strong, he thinks that I can relax it a bit. In this way, by gradual relaxation, by relaxing in our devotional service, we fell trapped to Maya. And another things before I finish, I should say that our Guru, it has learned from my Guru Maharaj. He has told that Krishna consciousness is dynamic. In the sense, let me explain that one so that we can understand really what it is. Dynamic in the sense, it is either we are progressing or we are relegating. There is no in between. It is not a static thing. So if we are not progressing in our devotional service, the immediate inference is that I am regressing. That means I am going down. Unless we are cautious about our personal life, we have to take responsibility about our devotional service, because each one's individuals, it is my journey. So we have to be very, very cautious about our devotional service, and every moment we should ascertain that whatever I am doing, am I doing it for the service of Krishna, or it is for my personal sense enjoyment. In this way, if we every time we ask ourselves and associate our activities with the Lord, then we have a situation. It is a safe situation. But again, that means safe means by taking shelter of the Lord. By taking shelter of the Lord only, we can get rid of Maya. And finally, I'll conclude here. Before that, I'm just quoting a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, and I'm just finishing here, where it's I think it is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter 14, verse 58, and it says, Shamasritaye pada pallava plavanam Mahat padam punna jasho murari Bhavam buddhid vatsha padam Param padam jadvi padam natesham. It says that for those who have accepted the abode of the lotus feet of the Lord, which is the shelter of the cosmic manifestation and is famous as Murari, the enemy of the Mura demon. The ocean of the material world is like a water contained in a cup's footprint. The goal is Param Padam Vaikuntha, the place where there is no material miseries, nor not the place where there is danger at every step. So in this material world, there is danger at every step. But if we accept the lotus feet of the Lord, take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, and that is our only guarantee of going back to the Godhead. And when all the problem, or that is padam jad, every step there is danger in this material world, but it becomes easy for us to overcome it when we take shelter of the Lord completely. And with that, I conclude. Hare Krishna. If anybody has any other comments to make, any mistake I have committed, please point out. I'll be happy to correct myself. And I'm happy to hear from all of you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, very nice class. You have nicely described that sloka, and especially what's the nature of the material world. Yes, every day we are listening, and you nicely described about so many slokas from Bhagavad Gita. This is a Mortalok, yes, Death Loka, and we know the material world is the Dukhala or Shashvatam, and all planetary systems will destroy. It's not permanent, it's illusory, and we know the illusory energy who comes from the Lord. And our main goal is how we can go back to the Lord's lotus feet, and how we came here because of our desire to enjoy the sense gratification. And for that we work, and then entanglement comes and we attach. And this all cycle is going on. Even when our consciousness, when we are leaving the body, that tells what we are doing and what we will come in our mind. That consciousness is very important. Like Bharat Maharaj, you have given the example nicely. And that another world, which is eternal, you have described and differentiate very nicely. And how we can get the eternal life, doing the bhakti yoga and take the lotus feet of Mukunda, we can go. And you have nicely described about the Maya, the two Shaktis. Avarana Atmika Shakti I understand, but Proksit Atmika Shakti maybe I could not understand. Can you please tell me a little bit about that? Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
What's the appreciation? Avarunatmika Shakti is very simple, as I've
Yeah.
told. I mean, it all covers us. It doesn't
Covers
give us,
ourselves, yeah.
so it does not give us the knowledge about the Lord and
No.
our real identity. But Prakshetatmika Shakti tests our taste of devotion at every moment. And it tries to throw it us away the moment we forget the Lord. So every moment it is, Prakshet means throw away. So although we have known the knowledge, but when we pursue that path, we are obstructed, we are tested every time. Unless we are very serious, the Lord does not allow us to proceed further. So at every stage, it is testing are we really serious? And that is what Krishna wants us to be. Because, in Bhagavad Gita, I think it is 1860, the Lord, Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mam Ekam. Are we only, Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mam Ekam, only the Lord? Is our thinking, our activities only towards Lord? That is being tested through the Prakshetatmika Shakti. If it is not, we get distracted. And that this test is, the testing is called, the test is through Prakshetatmika Shakti. The Lord tests us, and the Maya Shakti, that is the hard task. It is given to Durga Devi.
So it's happened by the Jora Bharat as well. Sorry, Bharat Maharaj as well.
Yes.
He
But
is under, so we are all sometimes, isn't it? Prakshetatmika Shakti.
and we should, I am not sure whether I've been able to explain properly, but Bharat Maharaj's case is for us to listen. I mean, for us to learn from ourselves, because he is such an elevated, only through such elevated devotees only the Lord teaches us It shows, in one sense, the Bharat Maharaj is so elevated, but yet he fall down. That means how much careful we should be in our devotional service. That is the example for Bharat Maharaj. In a similar way, the opposite is that even by remembering the Lord for a small moment, Ajamalu was rescued from the great misery he was about to fall. So that is another example of Lord's extreme mercy for his devotees. So that is the example, what I understand. And if anybody has any other understanding.
Yes, yeah, true. It's an example. It's a lesson for us. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, is it anybody has any other comments to make, or otherwise we will close the
Hare
session?
Krishna Prabhu, Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dandot. Thank you so much for your nice exposition on this topic, and how there's always a, as you said, between the cup and the lip, there's always a there's always a slip.
There is always a slip
between the cup and the lip, as you said. So I was just wondering, Prabhupada usually uses the term like trying to catch the rhinoceros. No, he says, if you go and hunt for the rhinoceros, no? Because very difficult animal to hunt. So he's telling even if we fail to hunt the rhinoceros, people will say, oh, okay, he went to hunt a very difficult animal, and that's why he failed. So similarly, I was still just thinking, like what Bharata Maharaj and all these great devotees like are aiming for. That is the greatest prize. They're talking about love of God, higher than even liberation. That is the topmost, like something like hunting for a very, very difficult prize. So in that sense, is it just the case that Lord wants us to be 100% perfect? In Bharata Maharaj's life, he was 99.99999% perfect, and Krishna wanted him to be that 0.00001 perfection he wanted, and so that 0.001 perfection he got in his life as in the deer and as well as in the Jada Bharat. Is it? I was just wondering, is it something like that? That 0.001% perfection also Krishna wanted from him. He wanted that full 100% perfection.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you very much for this question. And I am telling them to the extent my knowledge goes, I am not very qualified, but still. So one thing, Prabhu, I understand that, I mean, from my Guru Maharaj, from through him, I am telling what I have learned. The Lord is sitting in our heart, and he knows what we are. And so what we can do the best of ours. We should not compare. In a spiritual kingdom, there is no competition. So we should not think that we have to be like Bharat Maharaj to that elevated. What capacity I have, if I give 100% of what I am having, the Lord will save us. This is my understanding, Prabhu. Because in Ramayana there is an example is often quoted. The squirrel was trying to give his best, and Hanuman and others, they were simply mocking for him that what he was doing. But Lord Ramachandra was happy with the service of squirrel, and so it is not that we have to be same level as others, but whatever we have to give 100% of that. If we can give that to the best of our ability, the Lord is seated in our heart, and it is told that Bhavograhi Janardhan, Lord sees our mental mood and what we are doing. So he is the best judge, and he decides on that. And so we should not be unnecessarily worried that I am a small person. So whatever, I am a small person, no doubt about that. But if I give best what I have, the Lord will take care of that. This is my understanding, Hare Krishna Prabhu. I'm not sure.
Thank you.
Other senior devotees can probably throw light on that, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for clarifying.
Hare Krishna, Abhay Prabhu. This is Vaikuntha Das. To the question asked by Madhav Poshak Prabhu, God is more interested in our endeavor than the final result. He is more interested in our endeavor, whether we are fully 100% absorbed or 99.9% absorbed. But Lord is more interested in our endeavor, and that's why Lord has helped Bharat Maharaj to regain his consciousness even at the next life as deer. So that is the help God is giving to him, actually, to remember what was his previous birth. That's my understanding.
Oh, thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, also Prabhuji. Yeah, that is. Thank you, Prabhuji, for nicely explaining the point. Yes, Prabhuji. So I think, Pushpak, we have got the answer.
Thank you. No, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you to both of you for clarifying that. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. If there's no further reflection, we can end here.
Vancha kalpatarubhasya
Yascha
kripa
kripa
sindhubhyo
sindhubhyo
pavunebhyo vaishnavabhyo namo namo Gauravati Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. His Abhay Charan Prabhu ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai. Guru Premanande Hari Hari
Hari Hari
Bol.
Bol.
All glories to assembled devotees. Hare